Good morning, students. So today we will discuss module 3 of microelectronics. So in this module, we are going to discuss about the biasing techniques of IC. You know what is biasing? Biasing means it is a technique that we are implementing in almost all electronic circuits so as to fix the constant DC biasing current to be flown in particular circuit. Okay, so for this, we need to apply certain techniques or certain design methodologies so as to fix the required amount of current flow to a particular circuit. So if the current flow that is done through through a circuit is beyond a particular value, then it will affect the entire performance of the circuit. So we need to be very conscious while designing the biasing technique of a circuit, particular especially when the circuit is made up of MOSFETs. So in first module, we have discussed many biasing techniques of MOSFET, right? Uh, Here we will be discussing the biasing techniques of an IC. Actually, what do you mean by IC? IC is an integrated circuit where we have large number of circuits implemented together under one silicon wafer. So this will be a complicated circuits which are fabricated under one single chip. So if you are not bothered about the biasing technique of an IC, then this IC may get burned out in future because of improper biasing. So we should be very careful while designing the biasing circuit for an integrated circuit. So here we are dealing with ICs which is made up of MOSFETs. Because why we are using MOSFETs in fabricating this IC instead of transistors, ordinary transistors like BJTs, because MOSFET is a low power dissipation component. Okay, it will consume only less power when compared to the conventional bipolar junction transistor. So here we are considering integrated circuits or IC chips, which is composing of MOSFETs, and we are trying to bias this particular IC by numerous methods. Okay, so these are some of the methods which is required to bias an IC. The main methods that we have is the basic current source, current mirror, and current steering circuit. So by using current mirror and current steering circuits, we are going to bias IC. So these are the feasible or the most desirable methods of biasing an IC. What is that? By using constant current source, current mirror, and current steering circuits. So later we will discuss about the difference between the current source, current mirror, and current steering circuit in detail. So as of now, you just keep in mind this current source, current mirror, and current steering circuits are basically used for biasing an integrated circuit. Integrated circuit is nothing but your conventional ICs made up of large number of components which are fabricated under a silicon wafer or under a single chip. And why we are using IC instead of discrete components in order to reduce complexity of the circuit. So rather than using discrete components here and there, all these components can be integrated or fabricated under one chip. Then we can handle the circuit in a better, effective way, or the complication of designing the circuit will be less. But while using an IC, the most relevant part is biasing an IC. Means we should be able to provide some additional circuitry in order to bias a particular, because it is dealing with large number of circuits at a time, right? So there will be more chance of current flow, there will be more chance of voltage, power dissipations, so that causes heating of the IC and will burn out gradually, or the aging of the IC will be, the age of the IC will be less. Okay, so we have to take care of the the lifetime of the IC by using proper biasing techniques. So this current source, current mirror, and current steering circuits are basically used for IC biasing. Now, after this, in this module, we will be discussing about the high frequency response of amplifiers and how we are implementing this amplifiers in IC. That is CMOS implementation of CS amplifier with active loads. Followed by, we will be discussing common gate and common drain amplifiers with respect to active load. So in the previous module, that is in module 2, just we have discussed about the three amplifiers like common source, common gate, and common drain. But in this module, we are going to discuss about the three amplifiers, same versions, but with active load. Means we will be connecting active load to the amplifier, and then we will perform the analysis, and we will try to differentiate between the amplifiers with active loads and without active loads. So this is the introduction of this module. So first we will deal with IC biasing. That is the main techniques of IC biasing. It includes current source, current mirror, and current steering circuits, and followed by the IC biasing techniques. Then we will discuss about the high frequency response. Means when the input signal's frequency increases, what will happen to the output response of the amplifier? That we have to discuss, and we need to go through the different techniques that will determine the cutoff frequency of amplifiers. You know what do you mean by cutoff frequency? Cutoff frequency is a frequency at which the gain of the amplifier will reduce by 70.7% of maximum value. So till that cutoff frequency, you are getting maximum gain, but after the particular frequency, the gain of the amplifier will decrease. Okay, or the output power of the amplifier will be reducing below the 50% of maximum level, which is not at all acceptable for any load devices. Correct. So we can determine this cutoff frequency because it is from the designer point of view. He can fix the cutoff frequency with respect to the application. Okay. So based upon the cutoff frequency given, he can design the amplifier. So for that, he need to derive or he need to analyze the particular circuit and what are the different methods to find the value of this cutoff frequency like that. So in this section, we will be discussing about different methods of determining this cutoff frequency and how the amplifier's output frequency response get varied. What do you mean by frequency response? Frequency response is nothing but a graph that shows a relationship between the gain and frequency of an amplifier. That is, whenever the frequency changes, how the gain of the amplifier will get changed. That is what is known as frequency response. And after a particular frequency, the gain will decrease. Okay, so the frequency at which the gain will decrease to a 70.7%, means 0.707 of maximum gain. That is nothing but 3 dB gain. Okay, so that is why that particular frequency at which the gain is reduced to 0.707 of maximum value is known as cutoff frequency or 3 dB cutoff frequency. Followed by this, we will be discussing this thing, that is how the amplifiers can be implemented by using CMOS with active loads. Okay, so for that, we will be discussing the common source configuration, common gate configuration, as well as common drain configurations with active load. So in your question, if it is specified with active load means it will come under module 3. If it is not with active load means it is coming under module 2, whatever we have discussed yesterday, right? So while writing the answer sheets and answer paper, you should be very careful about the question. Read the question n number of times and then try to answer the question. Okay, so if it is with active load means it is different. If it is without active load means it is different. So you have to see if the analysis is with active load or without active load. Accordingly, you need to proceed. Fine. Now we are going to the first topic of the module, that is IC biasing. As I said earlier, the main circuits for IC biasing involves a current source, current mirror, and current steering circuit. You know what is current source? Current source means it's a circuitry which is used to produce a current, an output current from a source. So you will have a source that produces the current. Okay, you will have some source which will produce a definite amount of current, but actually you need some other value of current for biasing an IC. For example, if you take one IC, that IC needs 5 ampere, but you have a 10 ampere current source. Okay, so you have to produce 5 ampere current from the 10 ampere current source. So that is a speciality of current source. So by using some circuitry, you are going to produce an output current from the reference source. So that is a concept behind the current source. Okay. Now, the concept behind current mirror is if the output current is same as that of the reference source, okay, you are trying to produce a same output current across one terminal or across the load by using some source, then the particular circuitry is known as current mirror. just as your face looks same in the mirror. So this particular circuit is why it is named as current mirror, because you are producing same output current which is exactly same as that of the reference current or a source current. That is why it is known as current mirror. Got the concept? Second one. Now third one is current steering. Okay, I told you this is the biasing technique for IC. In IC, you will have numerous number of n number of circuitry, not a single circuit. You will have large number of circuit. So you are trying to produce output current in one circuit, and it is not enough. It is to be steered, or it is to be extended to different other part of an IC. So for that, you have to steer the current from one location of an IC to another location of an IC. Understood? Suppose you have produced desired output current in one location of an IC by using some circuitry. Okay, but unfortunately you need the same current in different other parts also, because IC, as you can imagine, an integrated circuit will have a complicated technology or complicated circuitry inside that. Different interconnections of different components will be there. So for one component you may need 1 ampere current. For another component also you need 1 ampere current. So we have to steer the current from one part of the IC to another location from the same IC. So for that we are going to utilize current steering circuits. So hope Neha got the concept of these three: current source, current mirror, and current steering circuits. Current source is something which produce a definite amount of current based upon the given input. Okay, current mirror means if we are intended to produce the same output current which is exactly same as that of the input source current, then it is known as current mirror. And current steering means it is not confined to one location of an IC. If we have produced a desired current at the one part of the IC, and if we need the same current in different parts of an IC, means we need to steer by using some circuit technologies. We are going to steer the current from one location of an IC to another location of an IC. So for that we need to access a current steering circuit. Now going to the advantage of these circuits. The main advantage is, so you can read this point. What is that? Effort used for generating a predictable and stable reference current, usually utilizing an external precision resistor to the chip, need not be repeated for every amplifier stage. For example, if I have taken an IC, so inside an IC you have different amplifier stages. I have designed a circuit for one amplifier stage, but the second amplifier is also having the same current. So it doesn't mean that I will be using a different current mirror circuit for the second IC. So we are not going to use different biasing techniques for different amplifiers inside same IC, but instead of that, what you will do is you will perform this current steering. Just by using one resistance, we can assign same current in one amplifier, second amplifier, third amplifier, and whatever amplifier stages inside an IC, we can assign the same current. So that is the advantage of using current mirroring. Okay, so it will reduce the circuit complications. Secondly, the bias current of various stages track each other in case of change in power supply voltage or temperature. So whenever there is an external temperature variations or supply variations like transients or glitches in the supply, these stages will automatically track each other, and it doesn't allow the sudden variations of Q point. It will fix the Q point in the same feasible region wherever we have fixed earlier. Okay, so it is not going to affect our biasing or the load. So the load will be working properly with the respective designed circuit, even if there is sudden variations in power supply or external temperature changes. So these are basically the two distinct advantages of using integrated circuits. Using the biasing circuits of ICs. Now, coming to the current source. So I told you the three methods that we are producing in this particular section is current source, current mirror, and current steering circuits, which is used as biasing circuit for an integrated circuit. So this is basic circuit of a current source. Okay. As you can see here, You have two MOSFETs, Q1 and Q2. I reference is a reference current or the drain current that is flowing through Q1. So you can assume that I reference is equal to ID1. Why? Because I reference is a current that is flowing through Q1, and through the same transistor, it is shown the drain current as ID1. So this drain current is equal to the reference current. Okay. And always there exists a short circuit between the drain and gate of Q1. So whenever you come across like this, that is a short circuit between gate and drain terminal of a transistor or a MOSFET, then you should be able to identify that the current flow through this transistor is taken as the reference current. Correct? You are going to generate a required current from the reference current. So what about this reference current? Reference current is something which is flowing through Q1, which you can fix by using this resistance value. So who is going to fix this ID1? It is done by using resistance. Okay. So by selecting the proper resistance value at the drain of Q1, you can fix the reference current IREF, which is further equal to ID1. Clear? Now coming to this side, since this two terminals, they have connected each other. Let me pause. I have a call. Okay. So as you can see, there exists a perfect short circuit between the drain and gate of this MOSFET. So which means that there is no potential difference. Okay. There is no potential difference between these two terminals. If there is no potential difference means there is no current. Only if there exists a potential difference between the two circuits means you will get a current flow. So I can tell you whatever the reference current IREF which is flowing through this resistance, the entire current IREF will be flowing through the transistor Q1 as well. So there is no current flow in this direction. Why there is no current flow? Because there is no potential difference. So when this is zero, that zero will be considered as zero current. Okay. So since the incoming current to this node is zero, mostly the two currents that is splitting to either directions will be also zero. So in effective, you can say that there is no input gate current to Q1 and Q2. Okay. Now, this is the output current that is flowing through Q2. Actually, you are about to design this I0. Okay. You have to fix this I0 based upon IREF. How this IREF is being fixed? By using R. So you have a reference current through this transistor, and based upon that reference current, you are going to find the output current passing through the output transistor Q2, and this is the output voltage. Output voltage is nothing but the drain voltage of Q2. Now, for this particular circuit to be ineffective, the main condition to be satisfied is this should work in saturation mode. The entire circuitry, it should work in a saturation mode. And what is saturation? The condition of saturation is VDS greater than or equal to VGS minus VT. So this is the condition for saturation. And as you can see this, the drain and gate are shorted together, which means the drain voltage is same as that of the source voltage. If you have a perfect short circuit between two terminals, then you must understand that there is no potential difference between these two terminals. So obviously, the drain to source voltage is same as that of gate to source voltage. whatever the condition I have written here, now I will replace this VDS with respect to VGS. So now you can say that VGS is greater than equal to VGS minus VT. Correct, no? VGS minus VT will be always less because I am subtracting VT from VGS. So this will be obviously less in the right hand side, and this is going to be large in the left hand side, which means that the condition of saturation is being satisfied. Okay, so this is the first thing we need to ensure. Next is the equation for drain current. So please keep it in mind, for a proper working of any current source circuit, the entire device should be in saturation. The condition of saturation is VDS greater than or equal to VGS minus VT. So that is being satisfied only by connecting these two terminals by a perfect short circuit. So if we have connected these two, means it is obvious it is in saturation and it will work properly. Now, from the first module, we have already familiarized with this particular equation. What is that? It is the equation for drain current of a MOSFET that works in saturation region. What is that equation? ID1. Why ID1? Because it is a drain current of Q1. ID1 is equal to half Kn dash W by L suffix 1, means this is the aspect ratio of Q1 into VGS minus VTN the whole square. VTN is the threshold voltage. Why I have kept N here? Because this is in moles. Okay. So this is the overall drain current of Q1. Meanwhile, I told you ID1 is same as that of I reference, because as you can see in the circuit diagram, I reference is a current that is flowing through this Q1. Similarly, ID1 is also the drain current flowing through Q1, means these two current are same. So how you can write I reference? You know that current is potential difference divided by resistance. So what is the potential difference that you have? The higher potential is VDD minus, what is the potential at here? This is which terminal? This is drain terminal, and the drain terminal is same as that of gate terminal because you have a short circuit. So the potential difference now at either end of this resistance R is VDD minus VDS, because we are taking the voltage at this node with respect to ground or source. Ground means it is at a source. So what is the potential difference across the resistance R? It is VDD minus VDS. And in fact, this VDS is same as that of VGS. So you can write the potential differences VDD minus VGS divided by the resistance R. According to Ohm's law, current is potential difference divided by resistance. So this is the equation of reference current. So how we are going to fix the reference current through Q1? By taking the proper value of R. So once you fix the R, you will get a proper or the required reference current, and based upon this reference current only, you are getting I0. We are going to find I0. How we are going to find I0? Based upon IREF. How we are going to fix IREF? Based upon R. So by taking a desirable value of resistance R, you will get the reference current, and based upon the reference current, you will get the output current, and we are going to calculate the output current now. So how we are going to find I0? I0 is nothing but ID2. Why ID2? Because we know that output current is nothing but the current through the transistor Q2 or MOSFET Q2. So we have written ID2. Neha, you are able to follow, right? If any doubts you ask, just pause me and ask.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
So why I have put ID2? Because you know that I0 is nothing but the output current that is flowing through second transistor, as you can see from the circuit. Okay, so I have written I0 as same as that of the drain current of Q2. So I have put I0 is equal to ID2. Again, same equation we will write. You have to by heart this equation. This is the actual drain current equation for any saturated transistor. So what is the difference? Instead of putting ID1, you will put ID2. Half Kn dash W by L 2, because second transistor's aspect ratio we have to focus, into VGS minus VTN the whole square. Here a square is there, it is missed. Here you have a square. Okay. Okay. As you can see, here I didn't mention VGS1, even though it is of first transistor. Here also I didn't mention VGS2, even though it is second transistor. Why I have not put a subscript for VGS like 1 and 2? Because as you can see, here the gate are shorted together. The two gate terminals are connected each other, and again the two source terminals are connected each other. So as there is a perfect short circuit across the gate source terminals of the two MOSFET, you are maintaining same voltage across the two terminals at the either side. So VGS of Q1 is same as that of VGS of Q2. Therefore, when you divide these two, that is equation number 1 divided by equation number 2, what will happen is this half Kn dash W by L will get half Kn dash will cancel, right? This equation 1 divided by equation number 3. Half Kn dash is common, which will cancel. Again, VGS minus VTN is also same, so that will cancel. So the only difference is W by L to the base 2 in equation number 2 and W by L to the base 1 in equation number 1. Okay. We are dividing 3 by 1. So I naught divided by IRF is equal to W by L2 divided by W by L1. Now based upon that, you can calculate I0 by taking IRF to the right hand side. So take IRF to the right hand side so that you will get the output current. So based upon this, we are going to find out I0. You know IRF. If you know the aspect ratio of the two transistors, you will get I0. So this is how that relation comes. Okay. So this is a working of a current source. Current source means we are trying to produce a output current based upon some reference current. So this is the relation between I0 and IRF. From this working of current source, we are going to current mirror, because current mirror is a special case of current source. That is, the special case is that when the two aspect ratios are same, means the W by L ratio of Q2, when it is same as that of W by L ratio of Q1, this will become 1:1, means I0 by IRF is equal to 1. So if you are taking two MOSFETs which are same, similar or identical in features, same width, same length, channel width is same, channel length is same, means this W by L of 2 is equal to W by L of 1. That is, it means this ratio is 1 by 1, or you can say that I0 is equal to IRF. That is what is the concept behind the current mirror. So current source will act as current mirror only if the ratio of the corresponding aspect ratio of the two transistors are same. So W by L2 is equal to W by L1. Then you can say that I0 is equal to IRF. So whatever the reference current that you have obtained at Q1, that will be eventually equal to, not necessarily that it is always equal to I0, depends. In what factor it depends? It depends only on this aspect ratio. If the aspect ratios are same, then only you can say that I0 is equal to. Okay. So this is the basically the working of the current mirror. Similar way, you can replicate the status. Suppose you have one more stage like Q3. So from this point, you can draw one transistor Q3 in the right side and mark it as I02. Okay. So same, like whatever current you need to produce across a drain of the corresponding transistors, you can have just by maintaining the ratios. Suppose if you need twice current of the reference, suppose you have fixed I reference is 2 ampere and you need 4 ampere, then what you should do? You will have to maintain this ratio as 2:1. So the W by L ratio of the second transistor should be twice as that of the W by L ratio of the first transistor. In that case, you can obtain twice of reference current as I0. Okay. So in this way, you can replicate more stages. As of now, I have shown just only one circuit or one stage like Q2. You can add Q3, Q4 or n number of transistors you can have. And based upon that, you can design the I0 value just by finding the or maintaining the ratio of the two transistors, aspect ratios of the two transistors. That is what is known as current steering. So this is a current mirror what we have. But practically, what happens is this I naught as of now, based upon this equation, it is evident that this I0 is only depending on IREF. Based upon I reference and based upon aspect ratios, you can calculate I0. But what happens is that there are chances this I0 may get vary with respect to V0 also. Okay, so that is what is known as the effect of V0 on I0. So here, this based upon this V0, you need to find an equation that is connecting this V0 and I0. And from that equation, we will check what kind of variations will happen on I0 based on V0. What is V0? V0 is nothing but the output voltage. I0 is the output current. As of now, I told I0 will depend only on I reference and the W by L ratio of the two transistors. That is a theoretical case. But practically, this output current depends on this reference current, then the aspect ratios of the two transistors. Apart from that, one more parameter, that is V0. Okay, so aspect ratios will determine I0, then reference current value will determine this I0, and apart from that, the output voltage V0 is also going to determine the output current I0. So that is what is the effect of I0 on V0. So V0 is going to determine I0 as well. So for that, we will begin with this particular equation. As I told you, for any successful performance of a current mirror circuit, always the transistor should be in saturation. And what is the condition of saturation? The condition of saturation is VDS greater than or equal to VGS minus VT. As you are aware about the fact that this VDS is nothing but V0, isn't it? If you observe the output transistor Q2, the drain to source voltage of Q2 is nothing but your output voltage V0. So you can substitute the condition VDS greater than or equal to VGS minus VT by V0 greater than or equal to VGS minus VT, because you are not going to represent it in terms of VDS. Otherwise, you will be represented in terms of V0 as well, because VDS is greater, same as that of V0. And what is VGS minus VT? VGS minus VT is nothing but VOV, and VOV is otherwise known as overdrive voltage. So this particular condition we need to ensure for the proper working of any current mirror or current source circuit. Now, the main effect is that this I0 may get changed with respect to V0. Why this effect happens, or why this effect of V0 on I0 came into exist? Because there exists always a finite output resistance across the MOSFET terminals. Okay, when you take a MOSFET device, you will have a finite output resistance across the drain to source terminal. That resistance value is now represented as equation number 1. Resistance is potential difference by current. What is a potential difference? V0 minus VGS divided by current is delta I0. Okay, why we have put this potential difference? Normally we need an output voltage V0, but that output voltage may get changed by an amount of this particular value, that is VGS. That incremental or decremental change is nothing but V0 minus VGS. Corresponding to the change in voltage, there exists a corresponding change in current also. That is delta I0. And by default, the output resistance of any MOSFET small letter R0 is nothing but the early voltage divided by output current. So this also it is familiarized from module 1. Okay, R0 is early voltage divided by output current. Now these two parameters are same. So we have to equate the right hand side of two equations. So now I will equate the two equations right hand side. So I have equated that right hand side, and from this some mathematical rearrangement I will get this equation. How this I have done? I have taken I0 to left hand side. So I0 into V0 minus VGS divided by VA. So that will be the change in output current. So how this change in output current happened? Because of change in output voltage. How does the output voltage get changed? By a factor of VGS. Either VGS may increase or VGS may decrease. So because of that, there is corresponding change in output voltage, and that leads to corresponding change in output current. Now already we have derived this equation of I0. Now I will substitute this in here. Okay. So this is the equation that is connecting I0 and I reference. So I'll substitute equation number 4 in equation number 3, so that when you observe equation number 3, now you can write the output current equation as I0 dash. Instead of putting delta I0, I will be putting I0 dash, that is new current. So theoretically, this equation of output current is this, but when we have to consider that incremental change in delta I0, we'll put here as I0 dash. Now, just by substituting this, I will retain as such, and already delta I0's equation we have already found out from equation number 3. So I will be putting equation number 3 in 5. Instead of putting delta I0, I will substitute this entire equation here and just rewrite. So this is important question. Try to practice this. Okay. So now just by substituting and taking the common factor. What is a common factor in the two equations? You have I reference as a common factor. So that can be taken outside. Again, W by L2 divided by W by L1. That is also a common factor. So when you take this outside, instead of this factor, you will have 1 plus the remaining term. What is the remaining term you have? V0 minus VGS by VA2. So this is the final current. So instead of writing I0, here I have written I0 dash. Why I have written I0 dash? Because I need to show the effect of I0, effect on I0 due to V0. So it comes in terms of V0 finally, right? Initially it was this. Initially we had this term only, but now when I have written I0 dash, an additional term came into excess. So that is in terms of V0. So the output voltage V0 is going to change our actual output current, and that change is nothing but delta I0. So by incorporating or by taking that change into account, final current can be now represented as I0 dash. So this is the derivation of output current of a current mirror circuit based on output voltage. The question will be like this: establish a relation between output current and output voltage of a current mirror circuit. So this you need to practice. Okay, we'll continue afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.